Welcome to MindCep, where we journey through the realms of mind and body to unlock the full potential of human wellness. Join your host, Alex Muir, as we explore transformative health hacks, debunk myths, and empower you with knowledge straight from the experts. Dive into each episode ready to flex your mind, body, and soul, because your ultimate well-being journey starts right here.
Podcast. This is episode 118. And this is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. And today's episode, we're going to be speaking with the founder of Cadre, Luke Wendlandt. Luke Wendlandt is the founder of Cadre, and Cadre is the social platform designed to improve your mental health. So welcome to the podcast, Luke. Happy to have you on the show. I know our time in the past didn't always align, but I'm really happy to have you on the show and to dive right into all things Cadre. So welcome.
Alex, thanks for having me, man. Really excited to be here with you today.
Absolutely. And so are you calling in from, is it St. Paul, Minnesota?
St. Paul, Minnesota. Well,
right
it's
on,
Minneapolis, right. St. Paul. We got the Twin Cities here in Minnesota.
That's awesome. Yeah, happy to have you on the show. And one thing that ever since COVID, a lot of people have been struggling with like their mental health, right? People have been finding, I feel like mental health since COVID has been brought way more to the forefront. And I feel like a lot of companies have been trying to kind of change their corporate culture, or business owners have been trying to really incorporate mental health initiatives and protocols to help their, for long-term engagement, connectivity, just being connected like colleague to colleague, bringing that back home to your family as well to make you a better, better worker or a better business owner and a better husband or wife or partner to your family. So I love your platform. Cadre is like mobile mental health in your pocket. And a lot of people need that nowadays. In some cases, some people, they don't have the ability through their benefits, or maybe they don't have the adequate coverage through their benefits to really get to the root causes or the challenges that they're facing. And it takes a team to develop your mental health, right? It's not just like a solo mission. So why don't you speak a little bit about that, about like how Cadre is helping like individuals based on your content contributors and then your platform in general?
Well, let's just start with this stat, right?
Sure.
So as far as you said, there's a mental health crisis in our world. True, right? Doesn't matter if it's Canada, United States, 38% of all individuals right now are diagnosed with some sort of mental health condition. Checkbox, right? True. Almost 4 in 10. Second, for every organization out in the world right now, right, there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different reasons why I choose to select to work for an agency or an organization or association, entity, fundraiser, nonprofit, whatever that is. First one is still salary, right? Like, am I going to make a living wage working here?
Yeah.
Second one right now is the benefit packages, which includes mental health. So to put in perspective, that's not you and I speaking that language post-pandemic. That's what data and stats are telling us, right? Like we can feel it, but this is what our employers and the employees are saying they want and what they're selecting. So what Cadre does and what it's designed to do is to basically bring social media to every organization and association on earth. So instead of these 1-800 numbers, and again, I'm not knocking them, 988 line is great. 911 line is great, needed and necessary. Totally get it. But what also is great is self-identifying ways in which I can improve my own mental health on the daily, that somebody doesn't need to support me, because also therapeutic interventions are expensive. So how can we bridge the gap for individuals to go on their own journey using content creators, right? We call them Cadre contributors, to be able to deliver messaging or messages, trauma, grief, loss, mental health, substance abuse, this whole big gamut that is life that we term mental health, but to be able to support folks in whatever that looks like in their life journey on Cadre, which we've developed these communities, live streaming content, pre-recorded content, all the above. So it gives the social feel, but yet from vetted peers and professionals on our platform. So it's been a journey, quite a ride to be able to develop this, but we're learning so much and helping people. What else more do you want? So it's quite the intrinsic drive for the passion I have, but it's also the extrinsic drive for helping others. And what else? Like I said, it's like I'm just blessed and lucky to be able to do this.
No, absolutely. And it's like when I was talking to Colleen, your director of program, we had an awesome call, and she was saying it basically, you know, it was born and created out of COVID, right? There was a massive gap, like you're saying, right? And Cadre helps bridge that gap for people to improve their mental health. So like it's such an affordable solution, and I really believe that I've tested out the app, I've tested out the platform, and it's awesome. Like, and like Colleen recommended, like as a, you know, for me to become a contributor, she recommends going live once or twice a week. And like when I was testing it out and seeing people that have gone live, yeah, they're on there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So you're getting like 20 or 30 minutes of their time. And sometimes that's all we need to do that little mental 180, that mental shift, right? To help like change up our day or boost our morale. So it's just so nice to have that, right? And there's a lot of people on there that different perspectives depending on where you're at with your mental health journey to help aid with that. So,
Well, I think there's this big patient population subset that doesn't know what to do. And I think there's some that can afford what to do and know what to do. And then there's a big portion or percentage that my wife and I talk about all the time together. We're like, do I just need a little like check-in? Do I need a little like reminder? Do I need something being told to me a different way than I've heard 1,000 different times? Like, what do I need right now? And sometimes we know exactly what we need and we're going to go get it. And sometimes we know exactly what we need and we don't know how. And sometimes we don't even know where to start. So my take is we've got to throw literally the kitchen sink at individuals so they can start selecting and choosing their own journey on their mental health ride. Because imagine if your brain and your mind is at the palm of your hand and you can actually get what you need, right? That's a game changer, right? For me personally, over the last 20, 25 years, like I tried, well, as soon as Google came around, tried Googling it, tried reading it, trying to find it, tried to podcast my way through it. And at the end of the day, like I had to go through this painstaking, like self-development all the way through to find my own ride. But maybe there's some cheat codes out there that are available that as a vetted peer and professional, or I know as an individual with living experience, or ABC therapist wants to share with the world. And if that can help somebody go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 faster, I mean, to me, it'd be deplorable not to do it, not to offer it. So that's my job, is being able to give that access to folks.
no, absolutely. And going back to like how Cadre started for you, let's start off with the name. What kind of research did you come up with for the name, and why did that particular name come to mind?
Yeah. Have you heard of Cadre before? Have you heard of the word Cadre?
No, I looked it up, and it
Yeah.
literally means what your brand stands for, your mission statement. It's like a group or community collectively coming together towards the same mission. Is that right? Along those lines?
Well done. One of the best ones I've heard yet. But so why I named it Cadre was, number one, in my previous businesses, it's been very, very important to me to select the name of the organization and get it right. Right. I mean, like if you knew what it was up against, what Cadre was up against versus what Cadre was picked. But at the end of the day, I was listening to this podcast with David Goggins, and David Goggins was talking about his Cadre, his community. And I'm like, what the heck? So I started, Googling and researching Cadre. And it's like, if you remove the military mindset from Cadre, what it really means is a group of individuals skilled for a particular purpose with a particular goal. And it's like, wow, what gold is that? I mean, it's basically like the definition you said, just in different words.
Love it.
But if we can actually live, eat, and breathe that, which is us skilled with a particular purpose, with a particular vision for particular people, my gosh, like I don't think there could be a better name for this business. So, then it's like, well, how do we churn this into a brand, right? And I mean, that's fun, is to, work with Cadre, work with the name, work with the logo, work with all of it and really develop and build now this brand, which is, based in authenticity, based in realism, based in, vetted, not selling data, like we are who we are. And that's what we're going to be, good, bad, or indifferent. It's real, it's raw, it's authentic. So that's who we want to be, and that's who we can continue to will be.
No, I love that. And like you can tell by like all the people on the platform, all the professionals, like mental health practitioners, social workers, therapists, psychologists, like, and just even people that have like maybe even athletes on there or whatever, like just all sorts of different backgrounds. So the vast pool of professionals on there, you can like every one of us can gain from their life experience and their background to help navigate these mental health challenges, trials and tribulations that we encounter. So I love that. And then I like a lot, there's a few of them that are on there that combine humor with their lifestyle or background, which I love too, because sometimes you just gotta have a
You have to
laugh.
have it, man.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
you gotta laugh about it. You gotta be like, oh man.
there's one individual, her name's Tiffany Norton, and she has there's Comedy Through the Chaos,
Yeah.
and then to Tiffany Norton on Sunday Night with Recovery, which I think is really important to sometimes like make a little bit of humor about the ride and about the journey, and to be able to hear maybe some individuals say "me too" in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. That can say, I can laugh about those moments that I had when maybe I was a little low because, those are dark, deep memories that people have. But how can we add a little spice of life to it and say, hey, we're all here, under the same premise and under the same vision is just to be better. And let's make a little light of it too.
No, totally. And something else that you mentioned in like one of your blog posts on the for your background on the website, Cadre's website, which really stuck with me was like surrounding exercise. And I had to write it
Yeah.
down because it was really, really good. It's like exercise gives me think tank time.
Yeah.
And I love that because for myself, like exercise, movement, like my dad, like from like 7, 8 years old, you're not gonna sit on the couch all day. I need you to pick a sport because sports builds character, it builds, independence, it builds teamwork, camaraderie, self-discipline, a whole host of benefits, right? I'm not gonna, you get to choose the sport, but I want you to commit to it it'll build that daily movement because movement's the best medicine, but it'll also be a double, like a double benefit because of the mind, right? Our mental health, like getting that movement time in. So when I was reading your blog post, you talked a lot about like your mental health struggles like early on, but how exercise help you navigate those through. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, like how exercise has had a profound impact on your
Yeah.
life?
Well, I think how it all started for me was again, I don't think we really know what we're capable of. If somebody told me, my 25-year-old Luke self, like you could run 107.6 straight miles, honestly, I'd say you're full of shit. For an individual who's ran maybe 3, 5 miles, like imagine I just 22x'd what I thought I was capable of. Right. But what I found, and that's just number one, but what I found was that I get this think tank time where I'll go on a treadmill and I'll be on a treadmill for an hour and a half. All right. Just let's call that like a baseline. Right. So if I go for an hour and a half, I have no idea what happened to those 60 or 90 minutes. I have no clue. Like I am in total la la land. It's my therapeutic intervention for myself. And I just think it gives me a time to think about my children, think about my goals, think about my wife, how I want to be a better person. Where have I missed? Have I lied to myself about something? Have I held myself consistent with discipline? Like this just allows me to think. And we as a society, how many times do you really get to just think? Like truly, like, right? Take a look
Yeah.
at your week. And if I asked you that, hey, Alex, last week, how many times did you think this week? And you set up time to think. You'd probably say like, I don't, maybe once, or maybe I have, maybe I didn't. Exercise allows me to just literally think and do nothing but. So I'm not a music guy on exercise. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't do anything. It is just nothing. Me and a treadmill. That's it. And so before you know it, you're in this therapeutic, like step walk, step talk, step run, step something. Sometimes I'm talking to myself. Sometimes I'm yelling at myself. Sometimes I'm singing. But regardless, it allows me to just be me with me, which can be one of the hardest things in the world to do if you're my wife. But to like understand me, right? Of why. But knowing thyself is really critical to your own mental health.
No, totally. Like, yeah, speaking of exercise again, like for myself, that my think tank time, same thing, comes through exercise and then it comes through meditation. So
Yes.
the meditation, I use an app called Oak. It's a free app. Kevin Rose, who's friends with Tim Ferriss, he created
Yeah.
the app and with a group of other people as well. But the reason I love it is because like I started with Headspace and then Headspace started charging and Oak's always been free and it said that it always will be free. But it's like just got really nice guided meditations and then unguided meditations. So kind of the deeper that I get into the practice, then I'll go unguided. And then if some days I need to need more guidance, then I'll do the guided one. But basically,
good for you, man.
Yeah, it's like I just did 10 minutes this morning, and just those 10 minutes, I'm like, there'll be thoughts that come up and stuff like that. And the way I used to judge those thoughts and be like, oh, why am I thinking like that? Like, why is that coming up? But now it's just like more of like mindfulness, being like, you know what? Like, this is just how I'm feeling in the moment. Let's tune into that. Let's lean into that. So it's taught me how to lean in more to those emotions rather than to judge them. So, and I feel like Cadre is a lot about that too, right? Is like helping people not judge their thoughts, not judge their moments where they're maybe at some dark moments, or moments where they're, oh man, like, my discipline's lacking, or I'm unmotivated, or whatever. It's like just to meet you where you're at and to help build from there and be like, hey, you can do this. You've got lots of oomph in you, and you've got more gas in the tank than you think.
Yeah. No, I really, really appreciate that. And I love your thought process around mindfulness. And one of the best ways that I've ever been explained mindfulness was, there's 100% of your time. And, if you look at the sliver of right here, right now, it's like living at 11:59 with 58 seconds left. And that's where you're at every moment of here now. And of the rest of the clock, we live in our past, and we live looking ahead in our future. But like the right here, right now is that click on the clock where it goes, and very, very few people actually ever live there. Like actually live right here, right now. It's like this, it's all selling you stuff, right? Be where your feet are, da, 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 da. It's to be honest, it's monotonous. What is true is where you are right now. Are you thinking about the moment? That's it. That's it. Like nobody needs to sell any more books. Nobody needs to sell you on another process of mindfulness. Like, can you be right now? Can you be right now? Like, can you be in this podcast? Or am I lying to you and I'm thinking about tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right. And if that's true, then you just have to be honest with yourself.
No, totally.
Like, can you live in this sliver of life right now?
I'll be honest, it's taken me a lot of training to get to the level where I can be like I'm right in this podcast and I'm not thinking about anything else. That's what I love about it.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, everybody and their brother is trying to explain a new way to get there.
Yeah.
Is through this metaphor, that metaphor, this metaphor. And what I found is you've got to just sit in the shit.
Yeah.
You've got to sit in it. You've got to sit in feeling like crap. You've got to feel, you got to sit and feeling great. You got to fit and sitting in a moment that brings you a jubilation, love, all of it. But also the flip side of the coin where some might not feel as great, right? A hard conversation, a harsh truth, talking your real truth to your partner, your wife, whoever that might be, right? Like, how can you live now? Because otherwise we're like the rest of the world. 49.5% here, 49.8% here, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward or looking back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. And I want to go into kind of like, this is a good one. So how does Cadre help businesses and their teams communicate and increase productivity?
Well, I think, our goal is to do one thing and one thing only, is allow employees to be the best version of themselves. That's it. Like, checkbox one. Like, that's our magic bullet. Here's also the harsh reality of this is it is very difficult to prove that I feel better today. It is. It's a hard thing to prove. It's a hard justification. So what we've used with our chief human resource officers, VPs of HRs, et cetera, is we need to be on the end of your year survey. Cadre needs to be on the end of the year survey to say, has Cadre improved your life this year? Has it? Like, has it made you better? Do you feel more productive? Do you feel more engaged? Do you feel you're a better teammate? Do you feel you're a better teammate of society? Do you feel you're a better human being? And if the answer is yes, we've done our job. If the answer is no, we have not. And 98% of individuals that we've ended up on the end of the year survey says the same thing. Cadre has somewhat, very, or extremely benefited my mental health. And so that's our job. That's our job to do for the teammates, for the people that we get the privilege to work with and serve.
No, totally. And then another thing I want to mention was your vans, the Cadre vans. Do you take those vans and go like to do presentations for different corporations and stuff like that, and on like the benefits of like adding in Cadre to the employee benefits? Because that's kind of what I was kind of like when I was looking you guys up, because it's very similar to what we have here in Canada. It's a telecom, right? Right, the cell phone company, internet, and then most recently they've helped bridge the gap because even though we have universal healthcare in Canada, it's got a lot of issues. It's got like you have it and it's accessible, but then you try and go in to see someone and then there's no one because we don't have the manpower. We don't have enough. The current doctors that are in Canada, like this is like especially in the West Coast where I'm from in BC, there's like very little doctors, but there's a lot of gap. Like there's a lot of patients that need help. So they've helped bridge the gap in a similar way that Cadre has. It's called TELUS eHealth. I don't think I can buy it like individually for myself, but it's included through these corporations that we work for. A lot of them it's like an add-on, right? That's added into your benefits. So the company pays for it on behalf of the employee, but it's very similar to Cadre because I can get 10 free sessions for mental health, right? You're talking about grief, talking about loss, talking about whatever mental health challenges, right? But you get like 10 sessions free, like upfront with the package, plus the virtual like healthcare with talking to a doctor, booking appointments, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So it's kind of like similar with Cadre. Is that how you guys do it? You do your presentations, and then let's say you get onboarded into a corporation, and then that becomes part of the employee's benefits package. Is that how it works, or?
That's one way, right?
Yeah.
So our go-to-market strategy has always been like threefold, right? So the first one is working with agencies, associations, organizations, businesses, insurance companies, you name it, right? That's going to always be our bread and butter. But by no means do I want to limit off or cut off strings to be able to help support people. The revenue is not the determinant of if we go there or not. It's will it help, right? Yeah. So the next one is a B2C. So we're available. Cadre's here for you for literally the cost of a gallon of gas or what might be a liter of petroleum in Canada, right? Like, we ultimately can help access your mental health, right? And then last but not least is there's a lot of people that are influencers or creative genius is their superpower, that are mental health influencers, that are, whatever. It could be nutrition, grief, loss, trauma. That is their special sauce. And they already have large followings. Maybe it's 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 followers. For example, we just brought on an individual who is, his name's Rob Gorski, and he's the autism dad. He has just shy of 1 million followers worldwide. He's coming on board as the autism dad, and he's offering Cadre to all of his members, which they will pay for, but ultimately he has his own private community. So they can all be a part of Rob Gorski, where he shares content, live streams, pre-recorded content, videos, maybe posts of the day, you name it, just like, because it's, again, Cadre is combining TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and bringing it all together in one realistic social media platform. But it's vetted. It's with vetted peers and professionals, but it's also vetted postings, right? You can't just go post anything. Our job is not, algorithms and dopamine. It's helping people. That's it.
No, for sure. And again, there's a ton of variety too. Like when you're, I think with the help of AI, like Colleen was saying, you guys have got a lot of different areas, right? Like, cause I said with my financial, like the majority of my 20s I was super passionate about finance. My mom and dad from an early age, they saw that I took an interest in learning money management, right? I was really passionate. I was hooked. I was age 11 and I read, I don't know why, but it just is one of those things, right? You lean into what you're passionate about, what you love. And at the time, age 11, I was like, my mom and dad had all these books on the shelf, and I was like, and they could tell that talking about money made an impression on me. I'm like, I want to learn how to manage it well, and I want to make lots of it. And then so I started off reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, the original by Robert Kiyosaki, and I was like, oh my god. And although I didn't understand all of the aspects of it at that age, I went back to it every couple of years, and I was like, okay, this is really what I want to do. So it's
It
those
makes sense.
personal finance books that actually helped accelerate my learning curve to get actually into the industry. And then by the time I got into banking, I already had all of that knowledge just from reading those books. So then by the time I got into banking age 20, it was a journey to get there, but because of school and all that. But as soon as I got there, I was like, holy smokes, this is exactly what I had envisioned, right? It was in my vision. It was like, this is where I want to be. Now
Right there.
that was a season of my life back then, but I want to utilize those skills and also talk about that for Cadre as a content contributor, because I feel like a lot of people have the struggles with the manifestation of wealth, or maybe even manifesting that job or that business that they're like, hey, I really want to do this. So I feel like that, in conjunction with my passion for health and wellness, which is MindCep, which is the podcast, which is the YouTube channel, that will be an absolute game changer for people on the platform. Because Colleen was saying that there's also a gap for people, content contributors, talking about money or money management. So
Yeah.
I feel like
Yep.
that'd
And
be,
I
yeah,
also like to add, I think what's the major game changer is this, right? So, a lot of coaches, peers, professionals, etc. Either do one of two things: they run one-to-one individual sessions, or they run groups, right? So you get this opportunity to say, I'm going to have my therapeutic intervention with XYZ provider or peer, or I'm going to have my experience with this group, and it's once a month or once every 2 weeks. And then I say, hey, by the way, Alex, I'll see you 3 weeks from now, or I'll see you a month from now. Until then, bud, good luck, right? And then all of a sudden you're gone. And that lifesaver or that life preserver on you is no longer with you anymore.
yeah,
But now all of a sudden, Alex just talked to me about in our one-to-one or our group coaching or through YouTube content or XYZ videos. And now I get him twice a week, and he's talking to me about things that matter. So now I don't have to wait a month. I can be in my feelings maybe only for 48 hours. And then just the sound of Alex's voice brings me peace and solace. And just the sound of him talking about finances, because I am struggling. I am almost bankrupt. I have no idea how I'm going to get through this. But hearing from you allows me to feel a little bit better about myself. And maybe it's not finances as much as it is my mental health and compulsivity. And maybe it's my behaviors. So I'm going to listen to a little bit over this here too. Before you know it, I start to put this like whole picture together, and it allows me anywhere in Canada, United States, or Mexico to be able to say, man, that really helped bridge the gap until I could get ABC person again, or ABC group again, or ABC therapist again. Right. So if we don't have that, we're just like you in Canada, or just like here in America, where it's like, get on the next waiting list. We'll see you in a few months.
yeah, yeah. And that's where everyone needs help. A lot of people
Right.
can't wait. So I want to be that person that shows up daily, but will give 2 sessions a week, free value, but just that maybe mental tweak that people are looking for, that they're like, oh man, like
Maybe
this
didn't
guy.
even know you need.
Yep. They're like, man, I listen to this guy and I feel 10 times better. And that's what I'm
That's right.
after. I want to make them feel better. I want to make people show up better for their family, their loved ones,
It's
their
half the
friends.
battle, man. It's half the battle.
Yep.
And again, like my wife and I always talk about in the sauna. We do the sauna probably 5-6 nights a week together. And it's the same conversation we have. Like, imagine somebody getting something they didn't even know they needed until they needed it, i.e. Apple, right? Like
Yeah.
that's has to be our mindset at Cadre. It's like, let's just keep giving people, and I said this before, the kitchen sink for all things mental health and wellness, right?
Yeah.
And let's just keep
Yeah.
throwing it at them. And who knows, one day it might be the fork, one day it might be a spoon, one might be the knife, but regardless, I have it. Might be the bowl, but this worked for me today.
Yeah. And then another question. So is Cadre global because of all the different content contributors and stuff like that we have on the platform? Is it, or did you say it's
Not
just
yet.
Not yet? Okay. But
And
Canada.
it will be. Yeah, toward 2026, I have no doubt in my mind it'll be global. But currently, right now, where we have accessibility to produce content and scale, where anybody can download the app in Canada, Mexico, or the United States.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, our goal is to grow into Europe. Again, legally speaking, growth of the platforms are difficult in various regions. But like anything, man, we'll figure it out.
No, totally. Because like right there, that's 500 million people almost, right? US, Mexico,
Yep.
Canada. That's a huge opportunity to grow a mobile mental health platform. So kudos to you, man, for creating this app. Like I've never seen anything like it. It's like very unique, and
Super
honestly,
intuitive, isn't it?
if I would have freaking found this when I was in high school, before podcasting even, or used
Yes.
podcasting and this, I would have like gotten through so much extra stuff. So
Same. Same.
like I
Same,
would have
man.
been like holy crap, I'm not alone. I'm not feeling helpless.
Correct.
I can get through this. I would have like, you know. So like I feel like when we're young and impressionable and we don't really know which direction we're going to, it just helps be like give us that path more when we have that help really early on. So that's like kind of my mission is like the next generation with all the mental health challenges that there's going on out there. I want them to be like with Cadre, grow with us, grow with all of us. So they're growing up and they're like, the world is a tricky, unique place and it can be really challenging, but I know I can get through it.
Yeah. I have a son with generalized anxiety disorder, 11 years old. Wow, it doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? Me and my son, but we talk about it together all the time. I'm like, are you feeling anxious? Tell me what's going on. Is it your stomach? Is it your head? Do you feel scared? Do you feel this? Do you like, let's talk about it, right? Never did that happen with me. My dad knew the power of two things, right? The handshake of your word and
Yeah.
working hard. And it's not knocking him. It's just not what he was raised in
Yeah.
the baby boomer group.
Yeah.
It's just not. But what do we know that's true about our Gen Z and the next generation? They want to go deep. They want to know about their feelings. They want to know why. Why am I feeling this way? Why is
Yeah.
this happening to me? So our job as leaders, Alex, Luke, team, is to ensure that we explain the whys.
Yeah.
Why is this going on? Why do you feel this way? Why is my heart racing? How can I help curb this? What are some things I can do to ensure that this benefits not only myself through my own lived experience, but also other people and next of kin? I mean, to me, it's just a mission that we're here to, provide this on our planet.
No, absolutely. So that's all the time we have today, Luke. And it's an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I want to dive even deeper on a future episode or 3
No.
or 5, but loved this episode. Where can our listeners find you and what platforms are you most active on?
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, to be brutally honest, it's not something I want to be on, but I need to be on. I run a business, entrepreneur, a few different businesses, exited from one, etc. So it's a place that I participate on that's LinkedIn. My hope and my goal and my dream is that I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm only on Cadre. Currently on Mondays, you'll find me every Monday morning, hell or high water, Monday motivation. And I post probably 1 or 2 times a day on Cadre. And I share maybe something I'm going through, maybe something in my life, how to help your own mental health and wellness journey, whatever that may look like for you. I also like to teach about professional development. It's something I'm very passionate about, coaching in the workforce, etc. So I post random things and I just take it for whatever it's worth, and you might just find a little bit of gold there, nugget there. So I'm on Cadre and I live on Cadre, and that's where I want to be.
No, absolutely. So I'll put the links in the description once this podcast is done and then posted. And again, I'll send you the full interview. I'll put it on YouTube, Spotify, etc. And then I'll turn this interview into a bunch of clips that'll also be shared on socials too. So
Beautiful, man. Well, it's an honor to be here with you, and I can't wait to listen to you on Cadre. I mean, at the end of the day, Alex, like I'm a fan. I'm a fan of people who are putting themselves out there to make a difference. So really looking forward to listening to you.
awesome. Pleasure, Luke. Pleasure having you on the show, and we'll talk soon.
All right, take care, brother.
Yeah,
All right,
take
bye-bye.
care.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of MindCep. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Your support helps us bring you more inspiring content and expert insights. Join our community on social media at mind.cep on Instagram, at mind-cep on YouTube, and visit our website, Alexander Muir, that's Amazon Mike, UIR.com/blog for more exclusive resources and updates. Until next time, keep optimizing your mind and body, and see you in the next episode.